This is CBS 6 This Morning Weekend.
Oh, rain, go away. This is a live look from our CBS 6 studios here on West Broad Street in Richmond, where the roads looking pretty slick. Good Sunday morning, too. On this February 16th, I'm Greg McQuaid, along with Mike Stone. You have been quite busy over there in your little weather hovel, haven't you?
Yeah, we got a lot going on today. We have a little bit of rain right now. We're going to have some heavier rain later this morning, potential for a few strong storms, and it's going to be really windy today. In fact, we have a high wind warning in effect.
Good thing we used some extra glue.
Yeah, haven't had a high wind warning for a good chunk of the area in a long time, but as we showed you, it is pretty wet. We had a good amount of rain yesterday and even last night. There are a few showers right now, and we also have some areas of fog reducing visibility down to about a half a mile in Louisa. Across the metro, it's about 1 to 2 miles. And temperatures are still pretty chilly, 30s and 40s, but a warm front's going to lift northward today, and that's going to take us into the 60s later on. We have this swath of rain here west of Roanoke. This is going to be a few hours that comes across the area, so mid to late morning, early afternoon, we'll have rain with some embedded thunder in there. Right now, we have a few showers around, nothing too terribly heavy, but some concentrated showers here. Apple Grove down to about Cartersville or so, and then a little heavier cell here just east of Chase City. Those are tracking to the north. So we're going to have this little window from about 9 o'clock to about noontime today of about an 80 to 100% chance of rain. Then after that, the rain will be very widely scattered this afternoon. Highs getting into the 60s, but that is not a misprint. Sustained winds today, 20 to 35, and we may have some gusts up to 50, possibly 60 miles an hour for the metro and points eastward. There's a wind advisory here to the west for gusts up to 45 miles an hour, and we also have some river flood warnings in effect. There's a chance of severe weather as well, and we're tracking a snowstorm for the week ahead. We'll talk about all of it coming up in just a little bit. Gregory.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. It's 6:01 right now. Breaking overnight, a woman is dead this morning after being found with a gunshot wound just before 11 o'clock Saturday night. Richmond police responded to the 1300 block of Jenny Shear Road, where they found the victim. She was taken to the hospital where she succumbed to her injuries. Major crimes detectives are investigating. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 804-780-1000. A new business now open on the city's north side. It's all part of an effort by many working to help breathe new life into the Brooklyn Park neighborhood. CBS 6's Maggie Marshall shares how the concept is being created by a 27-year-old with a dream of connecting with her neighbors.
DIY.
27-year-old Mariella Gavino,
I actually got for free off of Facebook Marketplace.
has spent the last 6 months building a new chapter in her young life.
This wall we have our nonfiction section, and it's probably our fullest section.
With the title Being Business Owner.
It took a lot of research. It also took a lot of trial and error.
She knew her story wouldn't include a traditional path like her peers.
I could either go into a career for a really long time and life is comfortable, but I'm not exactly passionate about it, or I could go the complete opposite and try something really scary and exciting.
That decision gave her a chance to develop I Love You So Much Books, a new and used bookstore in the north side of the city.
It's been my dream to open a bookstore for it's one of those dreams you have when you're a little kid. I just thought about doing book pop-ups, and there wasn't really a person or people doing that around here before, so I just thought I would try fitting into that niche.
Her business sits in the Brooklyn Park neighborhood. It's an area filled with culture in a growing business corridor.
I'm definitely part of a big wave that's coming through, and it's really exciting, but I also really hope that we can also listen to what people here want and need.
She's crafted her store to be more than just a place for people to shop, but for it to be a space that builds community.
I really wanted to introduce a place where people could stay, and also in staying experience other shops in the neighborhood too that maybe they didn't think about going to if they were just passing through.
While this new chapter of Gavino's life is just starting,
it's showcasing these classic titles, but maybe in a way that you haven't seen it before, like this really special copy of The Bell Jar.
She hopes the community will love this chapter.
I hope they take away a sense of peace, but also just community. I hope they discover something new that they might not have, discovered at another big box store.
In Richmond, Maggie Marshall, CBS 6 News.
6:04 right now. The NAACP honors founders and members through a luncheon on Saturday. The Richmond, Virginia branch NAACP hosted their founders and membership recognition luncheon. This year's theme, called NAACP, We've Come This Far by Faith, emphasizes some obstacles people face and their vision is still alive and relevant. The time was spent honoring 4 life members of the branch, the organization, also spending the day celebrating Black History Month.
Black History Month to me is to celebrate Black history, but again, we celebrate Black history 365 days of the year.
That's right.
And this we're not limiting ourselves just to the month of February.
A lot of organizations and life members received awards for their contributions to the NAACP. The Richmond Sheriff's Office hosts their Regional Justice Summit Saturday. This year's theme is the Voices of Justice, Building Community and a System that Heals. The panel discussion, the criminal justice reform, rehabilitation strategies, and engagement with people. Various professionals who have represented leadership throughout the city joined the panel. Multiple experts and influential figures came together to exchange knowledge, share experiences, and brainstorm solutions for the future. A big day for the Virginia Veterinary Center as they celebrate their brand new short pump location. The center hosted a ribbon cutting ceremony and open house for their 4th emergency and specialty veterinary hospital. The brand new 32,000 square foot state-of-the-art hospital will be located at the Gateway Square Plaza. The new expansion will offer 24/7 emergency care along with a variety of specialty services. Officials are expecting the new hospital to be open next month. Hey, join tens of thousands of friends at one of RVA's biggest events of the season. Registration underway for you to run or walk the Monument Avenue 10K on Saturday, April 12th. If you want to tackle the 6.2 course, just scan that QR code right there at the bottom left of your screen to be connected with more information. Registration, $50 right now. You might want to do it because that increase goes up on March 1st. 6:07 right now. If you find yourself outside, maybe training for the 10K, you're going to get a little wet out there, a little damp, a little dewy.
Yeah, yesterday we had some heavy rain, even had a flash flood warning for parts of the metro last night. Right now, Greg, we have a river flood warning for the James and also the Appomattox rivers, and we have more rain on tap for today and possibly even some strong storms. It's going to be really windy as well. We'll talk about that coming up next.
All right, Mike, you're very busy. I know that. Thanks so much. They don't have to worry about rain right here. This is Rio de Janeiro at Copacabana South. Mike, I think, didn't you cut your teeth at a place called the Copacabana?
His name was Rico. He wore a diamond.
Where's Lola? 6:10 right now. A Wisconsin man comes up with a unique solution for removing snow outside of his home this wintertime. What do you notice? He designed a remote control snowblower. Ryan Wonka says it's the perfect chance to combine his love for RC cars and his engineering skills.
Wonka's golden ticket, if you will. He began experimenting by adapting radio-controlled motors to take over the manual functions of his snowblower. He says it took him a few versions to get it right. Every motor Ryan added is carefully enclosed in custom parts he designed and 3D printed himself.
Yeah, after I got it going, I sat in my car and I'm like, hey, this works. You know, I just sit up at the end of the driveway, or I can sit in the garage or whatever and blow the driveway.
That's awesome.
Boy, am I exhausted watching that thing go. He says he's already looking forward to the next project, a jet-powered surfboard for his kids.
And he's not lying either.
He's not lying either.
That's American ingenuity right there, my man.
Yes, well, middle part of the upcoming week, we may be needing some snowblowers of our own. I'm going to talk about that in a second.
But before that,
we got this
14 years today. But there's even before we start talking about that midweek next week, we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, today's going to be windy, high wind warning in effect. We're also going to have the potential for a few strong to severe thunderstorms. And thanks to all the rain we've gotten as of late and in the last 24 hours, we have river flood warnings as well. At the airport right now, we have a little bit of rain and fog. Temperatures 43 there. Winds are out of the south at 7, giving us a wind chill of 39. But the dew point matches the temperature. It gives us 100% humidity. And with these fairly light winds, we do have that fog across the area. Visibility is across a lot of the metro about 1 to 3 miles. But we do have some pockets here here off towards the west, like Louisa, over to Charlottesville, about a half a mile. Same deal with Lynchburg, and a quarter mile up in Stanton. Temperatures now are a mix of 30s and 40s, but look at that. Towards southeastern Virginia, we have temperatures now in the 50s and 60s. There's a little warm front kind of snaked around the mountains here, this little cold air wedge that we were in yesterday, but this warm front's going to lift northward and bring us some warm air temporarily. This cold front gets in here later this afternoon, gives us a chance of an extra thunderstorm or two mid-afternoon, and behind it is going to tug in colder air for tomorrow, so we're going to go back with highs in the 40s. But here's the rain that we're watching off towards the west. It's getting close to Roanoke now. Notice we have this little corridor of rain right here. This is going to continue tracking eastward, and that'll be here mid to late morning through about noontime or so. Within it, we could have a few embedded thunderstorms as well. Right now, we have just some light to moderate showers. We have a few here throughout Louisa, Hanover County, back to Fluvanna and western Goochland, and a few throughout Nottoway, Amelia, and parts of Lunenburg and Mecklenburg counties. There's a wind advisory in effect west and north of Richmond today. Gusts up to 45 miles an hour, but east of that, the metro and eastern Virginia, it's a high wind warning for gusts 40 to 60 miles an hour. And up in the mountains, they could have some gusts up to about 65 miles an hour. This is not going to be an all-day affair. It's going to be this morning into the middle part of the afternoon, but with the saturated ground that we have, these strong gusts may bring down some trees and cause some power outages. So a couple scattered showers the next couple of hours, then here comes that swath of rain mid to late morning through midday, maybe some thunderstorms in there as well. This moves on through. Temperatures are in the 60s. Then the actual front comes through about 2, 3 o'clock with maybe a shower or a thunderstorm. Then after that, we're done. We have some sunshine, but then colder air comes on in. Tomorrow morning will be in the 30s, and tomorrow afternoon highs will be in the low to mid 40s. Until that front gets through today, we have a marginal risk of severe weather, damaging wind gusts. We can't rule out maybe 1 or 2 storms having rotations. We're going to keep an eye on that as well. Monday and Tuesday will be nice. Then Wednesday, that snowstorm comes in. We may get some wintry mix, mostly southeast of Richmond, but this looks like this may be mainly snow, and this could actually be a pretty decent snowfall. So we're going to talk more about that the next few days, but 60s today, 40s Monday, Tuesday, and then 30s Wednesday, Thursday. It should be dry and chilly, though, Friday into next weekend. Greg?
All right, Mike, thanks so much. It's 6:14 right now. A dog in New Orleans makes quite a name for himself after escaping not once, not twice, but 3 times from his foster families. How social media helped keep track of him during his months on the run, and how he was finally captured. He is going and going and going, plus how rescuers plan to keep better track of him.
Well, it's almost 6:18. Time now for Hey, Watch This.
We now know the legendary artists nominated for the newest class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame out in Cleveland.
Among the 14 hopefuls are 8 first-time nominees, mostly in the rock genre. This year's nominees are Bad Company, the Black Crowes, Billy Idol, Joe Cocker, Oasis, the White Stripes, Soundgarden, Fish, Mariah Carey, Chubby Checker, Joy Division, New Order, Cyndi Lauper, Muna, and Outkast, with Wayne Coval and the Covalettes narrowly missing the vote.
He didn't get in.
Again. To be eligible for the nomination, the artist or band must have released its first recording at least 25 years prior. This year's inductees will be announced in late April.
Tell you, Billy Idol, still looking good.
That was Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. Cyndi Lauper's in her 70s.
I know, she looks great.
She looks amazing, yeah. And girls do want to have fun. Well, most people think about watching the Netflix. They picture posting up on their couch and maybe ordering some takeout.
But the streaming service is hoping to get some people out of the house with their new Las Vegas restaurant. Guess what? It's called Netflix Bites. It's located inside the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. It features menu items and decor inspired by some of Netflix's most popular shows like Bridgerton, Stranger Things, and Squid Game. I heard that's an uplifting show. The culinary residency lasts for 1 year and builds off of the success of the previous Netflix Bites pop-up in Los Angeles, which became the most searched restaurant in LA after its opening.
Funny thing is, you go to that restaurant and you go like this, you go, no, 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 maybe later, had that, no, 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 That's how it goes.
Bookmark.
Bookmark. Maybe later, maybe later.
Hey, listen to this, Mike. A runaway dog is making waves on social media for being rescued for not once, twice, but a 3rd time in New Orleans after pulling off 2 previous escapes.
This video from October shows Scrim A terrier mix leaping 13 feet from a second-floor window and running away from his foster home. The citywide search for the pup lasted for months, with numerous sightings posted to the social medias. On Tuesday, a member of the nonprofit animal group called Trap Dat Cat finally caught up with the furry fugitive.
He has survived hurricanes, blizzards, fireworks, streetcars, cars being chased, and he's some special dog.
Well, since then, he, just like Greg and myself, have since been dewormed, bathed, and fitted with the GPS collar. He's already lined up a forever home with plenty of outdoor space.
He needed a cape jumping off there.
He's on the run.
He is like the Forrest Gump of dogs.
Now, continuing the Trap Dat Cat theme, time now for Pause for Pets. Here's Goldie. Trap Dat Cat.
Good morning. This is Small Chunk, a 2-year-old pup adoptable from the Richmond SPCA. He's a boisterous and loving guy who is excited to experience all the joy life has to offer. He loves to spend time outside sunbathing or exploring on field trips with the staff at the Richmond SPCA. Small Chunk is a smart boy and always has a big smile on his face. He's happy to be included in any activity you'll let him participate in, and he's also good at keeping himself busy. After a good play session, he's ready to cuddle up and get good pets and give kisses to his favorite people. If you're interested in meeting Small Chunk, you can visit him at the Richmond SPCA or send an email to adopt@richmondspca.org. I'm Mike Goldberg with this morning's Pause for Pets.
Chunky.
It's 6:21. We've had some rain across the area during the overnight hours. Also, some areas of fog. Temperatures now are in the 30s and 40s, but look at this. It's warmer in southeastern Virginia, 50s and 60s. That air is heading northward today. We have a batch of rain here west of Roanoke. That'll be in here a little bit later on this morning with some thunderstorms possible as well. In the meantime, we just have some scattered showers for right now, but there's a high wind warning in effect. We'll have some gusts at least 40 miles an hour today, but parts of the metro and points east may have some gusts 50 to 60 miles an hour. Getting the 60s today, and then it's more tranquil for the next couple days, but then we could have a pretty big snowstorm Wednesday night into early Thursday. So we're going to talk a lot more about that in the next few days, but it looks like a pretty decent snowfall accumulation at least. And then after that, we'll be pretty tranquil going into next weekend, but Wednesday night, and Thursday morning could be rather wintry across our area. Greg.
You're going to be burning the candle at both ends, my man.
Yeah, we got like spring-like thunderstorms today and then maybe a massive winter storm.
All right, thanks for the update. Hardcourt action between the Who's and Hokies comes down to the wire.
Oop.
Check of the sports action with Sean coming right up.
CBS 6 Sports, sponsored by Toyota.
The feel-good edition of CBS 6 Sports begins with the college basketball whip-around. We got 3 weeks left in the regular season, and teams are positioning themselves for a high seed in their respective conference tournaments. We start at the Robins Center, where Richmond was going for their 7th win in a row against Fordham in the series. Richmond trailed by 10 twice in the first half before they rallied. Mike Walls pretty pass to Jason Roach for his only basket of the game. Spiders down 17-13. Next Fordham possession, James Johnson III, the pull-up in the lane for 2 of his 15. Rams back up by 6. Near the end of the first half, Michael Tynes off the wall screen hits the triple, part of a 12-3 Richmond run. They led 27-26 at the break, and they take it at home 70-66 the final. We head to the Castle. Tech's head coach Mike Young getting some love from Hokie Nation as he was honored for his 400th career win prior to the Commonwealth Cup clash with UVA. First half, Elijah Saunders with the corner 3 to give the Who's a 15-point lead, but a little over a minute to go in the first half. Toby Lawal will bury at 3. The former UVA star had 19 in the first half, but Tech was down 40-33 at the break. Start of the second, Who's picked up where they left off. Isaac McNeely from beyond the arc knocks down the 3 before the shot clock buzzer. They were up 9 at that point, and they get the win on the road, 73-70 over Virginia Tech. Turning to the ODAC, 12th ranked Randolph-Macon looking to extend their winning streak to 17 in a row as they face Lynchburg. First half, the Hornets work a little 2-man game, and Jamarcus Brown Brown rocks the rim as he scored Lynchburg's first 10 points of the game, finished with 16, and they were up 6 early. A couple of minutes later, former Monica standout Malcolm Hodges uses some muscle, gets the layup to go. Yellow Jackets down by 1. Under 9 to go in the half, Jabril Robinson, he knocks down the corner 3. He finished with 19. Macon led 26-22 at the break, will pick up a 70-53 win. They're now 20-3 on the season. The Lady Yellow Jackets, they were going for their 21st straight win as they face Ferrum. Third quarter, Yellow Jackets down 6. Catherine Kagi looks to start the comeback with the baseline jumper. She had 21, Macon down 4. 5 to go in the third. Aisha Martin with the tough layup to go for 2 of her 9. Ferrum led 47-42 after 3, but in the fourth quarter, Macon would take over. Sam Smith would get things going with the corner 3. She had 9. Macon outscored Ferrum 14-1 in the final stanza for a 56-49 win. They clinched not only the Yodak regular season title, but the top seed in the Yodak Conference Tournament. Congratulations to Randolph-Macon's women. That's the latest from the Toyota Sports Desk.
This is CBS 6 This Morning Weekend.
Taking a live look out now over Independence Golf Course, where tee time's pretty wide open, I'm sure. But if you do, bring some rain gear if you're going to be playing today, because it is going to be wet. It is 6:30 on the nose. Well, welcome back to CBS 6 Sunday Morning. Coming up this half hour, we have some free Pet Expo tickets, too. That's coming up on Saturday with Henrico Humane Society.
I can't believe it's the right time for that again. It feels like it was like 2 months ago.
It really does, buddy.
This year's been flying. Well, the past 12 months have been flying anyway. For today, we have a lot going on. We have more rain. We have a little bit of flooding, especially on the rivers. We have a high wind warning. And that's just for today.
You're just checking all the boxes, aren't you?
Yeah, going through, just all of the above. It's been kind of wet the past 24 hours, and we do have some rain falling across the region now. Not as heavy as it was last night and yesterday, but it is pretty soggy outside. We also have some areas of fog reducing visibility in some areas like Louisa down to about a half of a mile. We're in the 40s and 30s for most of the area, but look at this. In southeastern Virginia, it's getting warmer. There's a little warm front right there, and that's going to lift northward and get us all a bit warmer today with highs in the 60s. This batch of rain here just west of Roanoke is going to come across the Commonwealth over the next few hours. So especially after about 8 o'clock, 9, 10, 11, noon, we have a good chance for some pretty steady rain with some embedded thunder. The actual front's behind it, and we may have an isolated shower or thunderstorm or two after that by mid-afternoon. Right now we have a few spotty showers, nothing too terribly heavy though, and our chance of rain goes up a lot between about 9 and noon or so. And then once that first batch of rain goes by, we just wait for that front to come through with maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm, and then the latter portion of the day should be just fine. High temperatures today though are going to warm well into the 60s. In fact, we're going to have high temperatures in the 50s in most locations, at least low to mid 60s for much of the area. And here's a look at the high wind warning. That's for the metro and points eastward. Could have some gusts 50, 60 miles an hour. And then north and west of Richmond, it's a wind advisory for gusts up to 40, maybe even 45 miles an hour. And we also continue with some river flooding. We'll talk more about all that coming up in just a little bit. Greg.
Michael, thanks. It's 6:32 right now. Violent crime numbers for 2025 in Richmond dropped to the lowest in more than a decade. That trend keeping up until January 27th, when the city recorded its first homicide of the year. Since that day, major crimes detectives have been busy and the violence has been consistent. CBS 6 crime insider John Burkett spoke to Mayor Danny Avula about the recent crime. John asked Avula about youth violence after the recent shooting in Richmond's East End, where a 15-year-old boy was shot multiple times.
Our police force, and not just the police force, but again, in partnership with our prevention-oriented partners, both our Department of Justice Services, other partners like VCU, and others around town who have really ramped up their efforts to engage youth, to really focus in on youth who are at higher risk for gun violence. But I think the reality remains that as guns are so widely available and have become in many places a part of the violence culture, we've got to figure out how to give kids a different pathway.
Mayor Avula says in the coming weeks he will meet with law enforcement leaders and ask what prevention and policies can be added to help them fight violent crime in the city. You can watch John's full interview with the mayor on our website, WTVR.com. 6:33 right now. They were born nearly 80 years apart, but their bond is everlasting. In a preview of my latest I Have a Story, I want you to meet an unlikely pair whose friendship is the result of a canceled college class. 23-year-old Kayla Smith befriended 100-year-old Andy Valero, and the best of friends could not be any more different. Kayla comes from rural Louisa County, while Andy was born in Spanish Harlem in New York City. The besties have been friends for 2 years now. Kayla was motivated to learn about the past in World War II after her World War II class at Randolph-Macon College was canceled. Kayla decided the best way to learn about the war was to hear it from the people who served. So Kayla searched high and low and found Andy down in Norfolk, a 100-year-old veteran who survived the Battle of the Bulge.
For me to have the opportunity to be able to talk to him, when I have a question about World War II, I no longer Google it. I call him and I ask him, how did you do this? I've had friends, but I have never had a friend with such an advanced age. I can honestly say that.
The bond is there forever. What she goes through to come and visit me, yes, that's a long trip. And I wonder when I go, you know, she's going to miss me, I guess, a lot. Yeah, oh, I'm going to miss her a lot, yes.
Oh, you have to meet Andy Valero. He is a gem. Coming up in my I Have a Story, meet the unlikely pair of friends separated by 80 years whose unbreakable bond began with a canceled history class. Also, see how their friendship is helping one another heal. That is ahead in our next hour. 6:35 right now. You're at dinner with your Valentine and the server asks for your wine order and you freeze because you have no idea what to do. Well, don't be that person. Justin Ferguson, known on social media as the Black Psalm RVA, is here to help. Ferguson appeared on the CBS 6 podcast Eat It, Virginia, and walked hosts Scott and Roby through a blind wine tasting. He says blind tastings are a great way to figure out which wine you like and why you like it.
I always ask, when I go out to dinner, what should I get? Or when I go to a wine store, if you like this one type of wine, this one producer, that's great. But how do you explain that producer? Because if you go to the grocery store or the wine shop, they don't have that one thing. How do you know what you want? And if the wine store or person doesn't know what your palate is, how do you explain what you like? That's what I want to do with education is let's take down the description, how you describe wine, so that I can go into any restaurant and describe my palate to that person so that they have an idea versus do you have a nice red? Like, let's define nice.
You can now watch Eat It, Virginia on the CBS 6 YouTube page or WTVR.com and listen wherever you find your favorite podcasts. 6:36 right now. We want to go to a nice vintage right now. Mike Stone in the Weather Center.
I'm an antique at this point, Greg. Well, I tell you what, we've had some really heavy rain in the past 24 hours, and the ground is just saturated, and we have a high wind warning in effect for parts of the area for today. Some gusts, 50, 60 miles an hour. We may have some trees come down today, some power outages. We'll talk about that. And we'll also focus on the midweek snowstorm. That's all coming up next.
Oh, man, Mike, you're going to be busy. Thanks so much. This is the coast of Timero, Spain, right there in the southeast corner. It is a gorgeous spot. Mike, I think if we hurry, we can get a spot right there in the sand. What do you think? Near the water or up close to the cabana?
I burn very easily.
All right, 6:40. Look at this. Class dismissed. Virginia Tech students celebrate the winter snow with longtime tradition of campus snowball fights. Usually the snowball fight is between normal civilian students and the Corps of Cadets.
This drone video shows that the battle that broke out on the drill field Tuesday, as recorded by Ethan Kamen, the snowball fight has become a key part of Virginia Tech's culture, serving as a rite of passage for students each winter.
Pretty awesome.
And there have been some previous winters there's been no snow to ball up and fight with.
Right. There's always been that one friend throwing that ice ball at you. Right?
Well, the funny thing is the snow that day, that was when we also had some of the icy crust on top of it. So I don't think those snowballs felt very nice when you got pelted by one. It's an ice ball. Stop that.
It's not feeling very nice outside right now.
No, you know what though? Temperatures are going to warm up very nicely today. So even though it's going to be windy with some rain and thunder, it is going to be a lot warmer. In fact, you'll notice that in the coming hours. It'll get a lot better as a warm front comes through the area. But we have some rain across the area now. Nothing like what we saw yesterday and last night, but that rain will pick back up. We have river flood warnings in effect for the Appomattox and the James River. I want to show you a couple of river levels. Now, the flood stage for the western location is 12 feet. Right now, it's at 12.3 feet. It's expected to crest about 17.3, so at least about 5 feet above flood stage over the next couple of days. And when you take a look at the Locks location, the flood stage there is at 8 feet, and that's expected to go up to about 15 feet over the next couple of days. So we do have some issues with river flooding. And right now, some visibilities are cut down due to some fog and some rain. Visibility is down to 1/4 mile in South Hill and Emporia as we speak. There's a warm front here in southeastern Virginia. On the other side of it, temperatures are in the 50s and 60s. On the other side of it, going westward, we're still in the 30s and 40s, but this warm front's going to lift northward and warm us all up into the 60s this afternoon. Here's this batch of rain approaching Roanoke. You notice it's a little swath right there, and that's going to come through in a couple of hours, so mid to late morning through about midday. In the meantime, we have these scattered showers developing ahead of that main line. There's one now in western Chesterfield County, right near 288, just south of Midlothian. A couple of isolated showers here, one just northeast of King William. There's a high wind warning in effect for the Richmond metro area in eastern Virginia. Could have some gusts today up to 50, 60 miles an hour. And then north and west of Richmond, there's a wind advisory in effect for gusts 30 to 45. And we could have some gusts up to 65 in the mountains. The ground is saturated, so these strong winds may bring some trees down and cause some power outages. So the rain picks up, and we have the swath of rain mid-morning through about midday or so. There'll be some thunderstorms in that. That moves on by. The actual cold front comes through about 2, 3 o'clock with another shower or thunderstorm. And as these storms develop, we could have a marginal risk of severe weather with some high wind gusts. There's even going to be the potential for a little rotation in this, so we can't rule out maybe an isolated tornado or two. That risk is not very high, but it's there nonetheless. So we have some active weather today. It still stays breezy tomorrow, but we'll have some sunshine. 46 tomorrow, 47 Tuesday. And then we watch the snowstorm for the middle part of the week. That should come in during the day Wednesday, last into Wednesday night, and exit Thursday morning. Definitely a potential for a very significant snowfall. So we're going to talk more about that the next few days, but notice how cold it'll be. Temps in the 30s, and then dry, but back up into the 40s next weekend. Greg.
Okay, Mike, thanks so much. While artificial intelligence has paved the way for progress, it can also come at a cost. Coming up next, we are sharing the hidden cost of AI on the environment and how governments are trying to minimize the impact. 646, welcome back. President Trump pushing forward with his agenda in ways that are bucking traditional norms and have been challenged legally. As CBS's Christian Benavidez reports, the new administration also made its debut on the world stage as Vice President Pence travels abroad to meet with European allies.
Without explanation, President Trump posted on social media this weekend, "He who saves his country does not violate any law." His new administration has aggressively pushed legal and constitutional boundaries to carry out his agenda, including in New York City, where Trump downplayed federal corruption charges against the city's mayor, Eric Adams.
But I know nothing about the individual case. I know that they didn't feel it was much of a case.
As the charges, which included bribery, were suddenly dropped, the mayor said he would start allowing federal immigration agents to work inside the city's infamous Rikers Island jail. 7 career prosecutors resigned after refusing orders to drop the charges against Adams. The mayor had pleaded not guilty and denied any wrongdoing.
This is about a new administration being very comfortable saying, this is what we will do, members of the Department of Justice, and either resign or implement what I'm telling you to do.
In a new interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity, President Trump and Elon Musk addressed Musk's growing influence within the Trump administration.
Elon called me. He said, you know, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely.
On the world stage, Vice President J.D. Vance's comments while addressing a crowd of European leaders in Germany has alarmed traditional U.S. allies.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within.
Vance accused Europe of eroding free speech by muzzling far-right anti-immigrant political parties and of failing to control their borders. Christian Benavidez, CBS News.
6:48 right now. A lot of heat on the ice north of the border. Animosity between the United States and Canada pretty high, and it showed in multiple ways at the start of their four nations face-off matchup Saturday night. Prior to puck drop, Canadian fans in Montreal's Bell Centre booed the American national anthem for the second time in 3 days. That was followed by 3 fights in the span of 9 seconds to open the game. Prior to the four nations face-off, Canadian fans had been booing the U.S. anthem for a couple of weeks. That was in response to President Trump's threatening to impose tariffs on Canada, as well as his suggestions that the country should become the 51st state. Just to know, the U.S. beat Canada last night 3-1. 6:49 right now. Artificial intelligence has been touted as a groundbreaking tool in the fight against climate change, but experts are warning of the hidden environmental costs of the technology. CBS's Tina Kraus reports.
These marine biologists in England say artificial intelligence is giving them a quicker and clearer picture of how environmental changes are impacting plankton, those tiny organisms at the heart of the ocean food chain that help produce oxygen for the planet.
AI is offering us a way to unlock this reserve of information. This could be a real game changer for us.
But new research warns the expansion of AI could create a higher climate risk.
We know that AI can help mitigate climate change, but we also know that its current trajectory is unsustainable.
A report from Britain's Royal Academy of Engineering calls for the UK government to receive mandatory reporting from tech companies on their power and water usage, as they operate in massive data centers that use vast amounts of power and need cooling systems to prevent equipment from overheating.
Now, with the advent of AI infrastructure requirements, the future is looking increasingly difficult.
You choose Europe for AI.
With world powers racing to become leaders in AI, experts say demands for natural resources are skyrocketing and must be managed wisely.
The worst case scenario is that we will find ourselves making difficult choices when it comes to who has access to power, whether it's the data centers or normal people.
A climate conundrum even AI itself could struggle to solve. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
6:51 right now. Grab your leash and get ready to wag those tails. It's almost time for the Henrico Humane Society's Pet Expo at the Richmond Raceway. Next Saturday marks the 24th annual expo. Puppy races, costume competitions, and salty paws eating contests. Keep the crowd entertained with lots of licks as well. I'll have the pleasure of emceeing the memorable event from the center ring yet again. The Henrico Humane Society rescues animals from all across Virginia, and the Pet Expo is the nonprofit's largest fundraiser to help homeless animals in need, so mark your calendars. And guess what? We are giving you a chance to win a pair of tickets to attend that Pet Expo for free right now. Just call 804-342-3413. That's 804-342-3413. We wish you luck. We'll be right back.
Now, from CBS 6, the Weather Authority, meteorologist Mike Stone.
It's 6:55. We have some rain and some fog across the region right now. Visibilities are cut down in a few spots to a quarter of a mile, like in South Hill and Lynchburg. Temperatures, we have a mix of 30s and 40s in most of the area, but look at that. It's 53 in Emporia, 63 in Wakefield, 61 in Williamsburg. That warm air is going to push northward during the day today. A couple scattered showers now. There's that big swath of rain west of Roanoke. That'll pass through the area from about mid-morning through midday with some rain and some embedded thunder. We also have a high wind warning in effect for the metro and eastern Virginia. Could have some gusts up to 60 miles an hour. North and west of Richmond, it's a wind advisory for gusts up to 45. And we have a marginal risk of strong to severe thunderstorms. We could get a few storms that show rotation, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Tomorrow and Monday, a lot calmer though. Temps in the 40s with some sunshine. And then we watch the potential winter storm for Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Definitely the potential there to get multiple inches of snow, and it does look like it'll be calmer heading into next weekend, but Wednesday and Wednesday night could be very interesting locally. There we go. Well, a California Girl Scout troop is hoping to bring some joy to some Girl Scouts who lost their homes in last month's devastating wildfires in Los Angeles.
Well, the troop is making replacement vests for girls who lost their uniforms, complete with badges. The girls were able to get the boxes of badges donated after their troop leader posted about their mission on social media.
Knew it. I was hearing from Girl Scouts all over the United States, Germany, Japan, Switzerland. We all want to take care of these young women. We all want them back in their uniforms. Girl Scouts take care of one another. It is truly a sisterhood, which is what girls need now more than ever.
The CEO of the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles says approximately 3,000 of their local families were impacted by the fires. Going above and beyond.
You know what? We're not that crafty, but you and I are both good with irons. We can iron some patches on.
Don't you crochet?
That shirt is crisp, baby.
You know what it is?
Starched.
Spray starch.
Spray starch.
Spray starch is the key to everything. Hey, tomorrow is President's Day, which historically means lots of retailers are having sales. Next, we take an in-depth look at offerings available this weekend so you do not waste your money.